morning, folks. And I do mean good morning. It's early. For me, it's early. It's before noon. We're going to make chili today. And this is going to probably be a whole lot different than you've seen made before. All right. What we got going on here, I went ahead and cut up my onions. Got a ton of them going. That's about one large one. And I've got some kidney beans. And I use light red and dark red. Nope, they're all lights. Just two of them's organic, just different brands is all. So I got 3 cans of kidney beans, and I've got them sitting in the sink over here, draining, because I don't like all that oil that comes in them. All right, now what we're gonna do is I've got 2 cans of diced tomatoes and green chilies, Rotel. I'm gonna go ahead and put them in my crock pot over here. And I'm gonna put you up here so you can see better. Oop, got 1 tomato, didn't make it out of there. We got 2 cans of those. And I'm not a big fan of tomato juice. So what I'm gonna do is add me a can of petite tomatoes in there. So just basically more diced tomatoes, juicing them. Just grab me a spoon up here. And these are pretty much the same, so we ain't got to worry about it. I do have it on high. I've already turned it on. The reason being is I want this stuff to go ahead and start getting hot. When I add my seasonings to this, I don't want them to just sit there in the cold liquid and not mix in. They mix in a lot better in the hot, so I'm going to go ahead and get it hot. Got some beef broth. I'm going to put me about a cup of that in there. And I just guesstimate. I don't. Probably about a cup or so. And we're going to leave it out. If we need more, we'll get it. All right. Now, we're going to jump over here. I don't know why I grabbed that knife. But I'm going to put you over here on this side. If we can. There we go. Well, I wonder what my issue is here. I think it's worked there before, hasn't it, folks? There we go. Well, let's pull this out here. All right. We're going to go ahead and start this up at 275. We're going to open that. I got 2 pounds of hamburger and a pound of sausage. We're making a big pot of chili. We're going to put us a little oil in here. This thing takes forever to get oil out of it, but I like them as little storage things I got from the Dollar Tree. Grab our onions. Now, normally I put bell pepper in here, but I do not have any bell pepper today. So we're just going to have to do without it. And we're going to let them saute up a little bit, and we'll be back with them here in a minute. Okay, we got my onions pretty much going there. Just got them softened up. We're going to add our first hamburger. And then we're going to do our sausage. And if you notice, I'm breaking it up. Try to get her cooking. Started getting broke up already because it's going to be hard to break up all this in the pot at once. And then our other hamburger. So that our sausage is kind of mixed in the middle. And you don't have to make a pot this big, but we eat on this for days. Wash my hands off here. Oh, I didn't sing happy birthday. Oh, hell fails. I'll die of the corona. Don't get me started on that crap. Alright. I've already mixed up all my seasonings. And I'll go through them or what they are here in a minute. But what I want to do is I want to get this started. Breaking it up real good. I don't want any big chunks. But I'm going to put my seasonings, I do it in 3 dumps. I basically season it 3 times. And I'm trying some new stuff this morning because they've raved about it. Everybody I've talked to has raved about this stuff. So let me show you what's going on over here. Besides the mess that I've made, where I missed the bowl with some garlic, or not garlic, but chili powder. Alright, in this one, I also added a chicken bouillon cube. I didn't have a cube. I used the very last of the seasoning that I had. I usually put a beef and a chicken bouillon cube in there, but I didn't have the beef today. I just barely had enough chicken. But in this one, this is the very first one we're going to use, is 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of chili powder, a teaspoon of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of Saison. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or not. Goya makes it. I was looking for it, but I found this, and it's a tropical. So we're going to see what that turns out to be. Then we're going to do the second one, which is a teaspoon, half teaspoon of oregano, half teaspoon of onion powder, half teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of chili powder. Actually, I only used 1 because I thought that was a little much to have 2. That'd be 4 tablespoons of chili powder in this, and I kind of thought maybe that'd be a little much, so I cut back. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. I do not have cayenne pepper that I normally add in, so I just took a little red pepper flakes and put in each one. Probably totaled out to about a half a teaspoon. More of the Saison. Oh, I did not put my sugar in yet. 1 tablespoon of garlic or celery seed, and then I need to put me a tablespoon of tablespoon of sugar in here. And then this one has got the Saison and cumin is what's in that. It's a half tablespoon of Saison and 1 tablespoon of cumin. So that's what we put in it. But part of, or actually what I think I'm going to do, which I'm going to deviate a little bit, I want my meat to have some flavor too. So this 3rd dump is probably going to go in the meat. And we need a tablespoon of sugar. Put it right in there. We went a little over because my spoon got wet. Alright, we got the tomatoes heating up. We can go ahead and dump our first seasoning in here. I want to get this stirred in real good. I don't want any pockets of seasoning left dry anywhere. want you to see this. It actually looks like chili, not tomato sauce. It's got a brown tint to it. It actually looks like chili. Like I said, we're going to keep our beef stock around in case we need to add some more. We got that in there. We can go ahead and we got our beans good and drained. We can add them in there. I like making my own beans when I do this, but just didn't feel up to it. I barely feel up to doing this. I went for a bicycle ride yesterday, the first time in, what, 25 years? You know, I'm not a spring chicken. So I went around one of our blocks here, which is, you know, fairly large. It turns out it's 9/10 of a mile. I went around that and I pulled in, and I just got the bike, so it's dirty. Somebody gave it to me, and I was going to pull it in and wash it off. And I pulled in out here in the front yard to get the garden hose out, went to step down, and my legs didn't work. Down I went. So this morning, I'm kind of having that soreness from falling and having a little hard time getting around this morning. So that's what happened. We're going to rinse out our bean container here, or the colander that had our beans in it, because we're going to drain that grease off that hamburger in a minute. So let me clean up the mess, and I'll be back. All right, normally I use a can of tomato paste and kind of put it in a pan over here and fry it up a little bit with some onion, and then put me some beef broth in it, which of course makes tomato sauce, tomato juice, but it makes it like a smoky flavor. My cat's over there tearing into my couch. I think you can see her in the corner over there. Hey, quit tearing into that couch. All right, but since we're a little thick, I'm gonna add 1 can of tomato juice. That's my piggy that I'm talking about in the other videos. Hey, quit! 1 can of tomato sauce. 15-ounce can. Throw this away. That's why we turn the camera off when I do things. I started over there a while ago with all these cans and dropped 3/4 of them on the floor and had to clean up the mess. So we'll be back in a minute. We got our here with us. Surely to God I can make it to the garbage can with 1 can without destroying the whole neighborhood. Hamburger's still cooking. Just put some light on here. It's still got quite a ways to go. There's a lot of hamburger and sausage mixed in there. But I keep trying to break it up as it cooks. I might have to beat me a cat in a minute. I know that's a used couch, but I just got it. I'd like to have it for at least a couple of weeks before she tears it up. So I may have to go beat me a child here in a minute. Hey, you. Behave. Or you won't get any chili. Put you in a room with Monster. Yeah, that'll change your tune, won't it? Monster eats cats for breakfast. I may give him that one. All right, we put a tablespoon of liquid smoke in there because I'm not going to try to take this out and smoke it. We're just going to cook it right here on the entire thing, right here in the crock pot. Take all this hamburger and sausage. There's a lot of meat there. I like it meaty. Put everything in there. And then we have to add some more liquid to it. Because now everything at the bottom is hot. Now everything at the top is hot. We need to add, get this out of the way. Stir this all in. I'm gonna move you in here a little closer. Get her all stirred up here. Man, that thing's hot. That cover or bowl. All right, now you see how thick we are. That is not what we want. So I'm probably going to add about 2 cups of beef broth. That's why I left it out here on the counter, because I knew we was going to need it. There's what I want. Want everything covered, but I don't want it overflowing. Now we can mix everything in. We're going to let this cook on high for about an hour. And then we're going to come back and add our other seasonings in it once all this gets blended good. And we never did put anything in our meat, seasoning wise. We used it all in the bowl here. So maybe next time. We'll see if there's a difference in taste. I'm sure you'll eat it. You'll have plenty of flavor around the meat, but your meat may be kind of bland. But then again, you're slow cooking it. I mean, you can do this on the stove, but slow cooking it gives time for everything to meld together. Let's see, it is 10 minutes to 11. So 10 minutes to 12, we're going to come back and we're going to add our other seasonings in. We're going to go a half an hour. Then we're going to add the third seasoning in and turn it down on low and cook it for about 2 hours. Then we're going to turn it off. Just let it sit. Because if you've ever noticed, the flavors change from the day you make the chili to the next day when you pull it out of the refrigerator and you put it in a bowl and you heat it up in the microwave. The flavors change. But what we're going to do is we're going to let this cool down so that the flavors change today, so that we know what we got. We're going to put that there. We're going to cover it up, and we're just going to let it sit there for an hour. So we'll be back in an hour. Okay, time is up. We're going to turn it off. Pull it up in here. Stir her up. That actually looks really good. Right consistency. That's what I was after. Now I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to get this ladle over here. We're going to dip us out just a little. Put it right there. And we're going to set that up there. We're going to let that cool for quite some time, a couple hours. But I'm going to taste it. See what I think here. Right consistency of what I'm after. A little big on the meat. But let's take a bite here. That's actually pretty good. But like I said, we'll let it cool for a while, because that's when my flavors seem to kick in. So we'll give it a little bit, a couple hours, and then we'll check back. All right, we're an hour in. We got to find our spoon. Here it is. I guarantee you that is starting to smell like chili. That smells amazing. Getting a little thicker than I like. It's about like what I want, but it's probably going to lose some liquid down the line, so we may have to add some more beef broth at the end. But what we're going to do right now is add our second dump of seasoning. And we're going to put that all over here. And then we're going to mix that in real good. And then that's all we're going to do to it right now. Like I said, we're an hour in. And now I'm going to let that cook another half hour. And then we're going to add in our third dump of seasonings. And at that point, maybe a little liquid if we have to. But as of right now, ooh, wait a minute. We got a lot of stuff that's stuck in the bottom of that thing there. Oh, we don't want that. No, actually, that was the third dump. So everything's in there now. So we don't have to wait a half an hour. Let's just go ahead and put it all in. Because I just made a mistake. That'll go on a blooper reel. There we go. Well, what we're going to do now, since we've already put everything in it, is we're going to wait like 2 hours. I'll tell you what, let's give it an hour. We'll come back in an hour and see if it's still this soupy. If it's still this soupy, then we'll be fine. If not, then we may have to add some liquid to it, which will be the beef broth. So far we've added probably 3/4 of this jug. This is a 32-ounce jug of beef broth. And there's about 1/4 of it left. We may have to end up adding that at the end. But right now we're good. So we'll give it 2 hours and we'll be back. Here's what you all don't see every day. I'm going to put that there. But this is like the third time today that I'm wiping the counters down. I have this bad thing about things being dirty. I just don't like it. So this is the people say, well, you dropped that on the counter and you just picked it up and threw it back in. Well, here's why. I clean incessantly around this place. So this is the third time today I've wiped down already making chili. I got me a good sink of hot soapy water and I have washed everything except for the front of the refrigerator, and that's next. But the coffee station's all been cleaned. This is the third time. I dripped a little bit of coffee a while ago. I have not used the deep fryer, but yet I've still wiped that counter down 3 times today. This little section has probably caught 4 good washes today. And this thing's probably about ready for the washer. So we'll put that there and get rid of this one. May use it to dry stuff here in a little bit. But got my recipe book here, which we don't need anymore. I'm actually going to put it up out of my way. But I am constantly cleaning when I'm cooking. So you need to know that nothing in this kitchen is dirty. Never. As you can tell by the living room, I excessively clean. I've run the robot vacuum cleaner twice already today. So just to let people know, if you decide that you want to cook something and you want to come over here and film it, or you want to bring something over and we'll experiment with it, or if you just want me to cook it for you, hey, bring it over. And this way you know that it's a clean area. It's not going to be contaminated with anything. This place is clean. I even wash my knife block, believe it or not, probably about 3 times a month. But any suggestions, anything you want to cook, if you want to bring it over and film it, hey, go for it. We'll put it on the channel. Like I said, suggestions, as long as I can afford it, if it's within reason, because like I said, this is the poor man's channel. This is not, we're not going to be cooking any fillets here. You know, you're not going to see artisan pizza. You're not going to see plates with, you know, red wine, you know, kind of splattered over to these decorated plates. You're not going to see that here. It's not going to happen. I don't cook like that. I started out as a cook in, believe it or not, I started out at Denny's restaurant, and then I went to Jerry's, and I worked at Jerry's for quite a few years. Ended up being a assistant manager there, and I loved my job. I cooked, short order cook. I'm the man, or was. I'm not anymore, but back then I was. So, like I said, the offer's out there. If you want to come and cook something on film, I'll film it for you, or we can work together. There's all kinds of options out there. All you have to do is instant message me on Facebook, and we can collaborate from there on. So it's just out there for you. All right. We've still got probably an hour and a half on this chili, and I'm not going to pick the lid up or anything, but we were talking about it getting soupy. It's getting soupy, so we're in good shape. I don't think we're going to have to add any more liquid. It smells great, but like I said, it's coming along. But we're going to give it 2 hours, so another hour and a half. Let her cook, and then we're going to go from there on what we need to do from that point. If we pull it and it looks good, we're going to let it cook another hour, and then we're going to shut it off and just let it chill out. But till then, I've got dishes to do or to load and send to the dishwasher. And then I'm going to go back to watching Shotgun Red. Shotgun Red is a hell of a cook, country cook anyway. He's long since passed away, but I love his videos. Been watching him for years, long before he passed away. Him and Miss Sheila. Miss Sheila has taken over his channel now, I believe. So I'm going to do my dishes and get back to Shotgun Red. So we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, we're an hour into that 2 hours, and you can smell this thing all over my house. My brother came out. He said, I can smell it chili clear back in my room. But 2 hours in, or an hour into that 2 hour cook. So this will be coming up on our 3rd hour. I tasted it. I put me tablespoon of salt in it and turned it down on low. Now, I'll cook it another hour. When that's done, I'm going to turn it off. Let it sit for a couple hours. So we'll be back in a few. Well, we'll be back in an hour. How's that? Okay, time is up. We're going to turn it off. Pull it up in here. Stir her up. That actually looks really good. Right consistency. That's what I was after. Now I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to get this ladle over here. We're going to dip us out just a little. Put it right there. And we're going to set that up there. We're going to let that cool for quite some time, a couple hours. But I'm going to taste it. See what I think here. Right consistency of what I'm after. A little big on the meat. But let's take a bite here. That's actually pretty good. But like I said, we'll let it cool for a while, because that's when my flavors seem to kick in. So we'll give it a little bit, a couple hours, and then we'll check back. We screwed up. I forgot to check in on that last little bite there. Chili turned out great. That great big old pot fed a whole lot of times around here. Turned out to be dinner that night, breakfast the next morning, dinner the next night, and breakfast the morning after that, because we had it for omelets and stuff. And then also have 2 of these full of chili in the freezer. And this is what I do. And I'm going to show you this because I'm one of those ones that I cannot stand the ice that builds up on top of your chili or anything liquid that you put in the freezer. I put my chili in and then I put me a piece of plastic wrap over top of it. And if you notice, I have very little air pockets in there. I try to get it smashed down as best I can, and that way you don't get the ice crystals build up on top and water your chili down when you go to heat it up. But I keep these in the freezer, and then feeds 2 people, one here, one there. So there's an idea for you. Like I said, chili turned out great. We did, I don't know if I forgot to film it or if I filmed it and lost it, but either way I can't find it. So we did pull it out after a couple hours. The taste does change after it cools down. The Saison, I kind of recommend it. It's actually pretty good. It does, the tropical evidently does have some heat to it. So if you use the Saison tropical and not the regular Saison, be sure you back out on the red chili flakes unless you like it hot. It was a little spicy, wasn't bad. You would get like, for like a couple minutes you'd get it and then it would just go away. So it's not something that hangs with you all night. So just so you know. Alright, till next time, see ya.